brains, trains, and oh so much mayhem. Welcome to the Drunken Zombies Podcast. Get ready for a daily dose of zombie stories that'll leave you craving for more. I'm Adrian, your host, and every day we're serving up a fresh tale of the undead.
And I'm Julia, here to help us unpack these delicious zombie narratives.
So grab your favorite drink, settle in, because today we're taking you on a wild ride aboard the Pacific Sprinter, a bullet train headed straight for a zombie apocalypse. Picture this: a speeding train, trapped passengers, a mysterious virus, and, well, you guessed it, zombies.
All aboard the Zombie Express. I can't wait to see where this one goes.
Oh, trust me, it's a wild ride.
Yeah.
Don't forget to rate and follow us for more Drunken Zombies episodes. Now, this story introduces us to Jackson Reed, an ex-medical researcher who's traded in his microscope for a conductor's hat. He seems to find a sense of peace in the rhythm of the rails, trying to leave behind a past that's left him disillusioned with the world. But why did he abandon the world of science? What's he running from? What do you think?
It's fascinating, isn't it? This drastic shift from science to the simplicity of the railway. It makes you wonder if he's searching for a sense of order in a world that he perceives as chaotic, or perhaps it's something deeper, a past trauma that he's trying to escape. It's like he's trying to outrun his own thoughts by focusing on the routine of the rails.
And while we pondered Jackson's mysterious past, we also meet Maya, a brilliant teenager who's always tinkering with gadgets. She's a bit of a tech whiz, and you know what they say in a zombie apocalypse? The geek might just inherit the earth.
Or at least have the coolest survival gear. I mean, think about it. Resourcefulness is key in any disaster scenario. Look at how people adapt and innovate during natural disasters or emergencies, using whatever they can find to survive. Maya's knack for tech could be a serious asset in a world overrun by zombies.
Absolutely. And then we have Leo the magician. Can you imagine trying to keep a train full of terrified passengers entertained when they're about to become zombie chow? Talking about a tough gig.
Yeah.
And there's also Nora, the dedicated nurse, who's probably dealt with her fair share of medical emergencies. But a zombie outbreak, that's a whole new level of crazy.
It's interesting how the story introduces these seemingly ordinary people, a conductor, a teenager, a magician, a nurse. They're all just going about their lives when, bam, a zombie apocalypse hits. It makes you think about how any one of us could be thrust into a similar situation, forced to adapt and fight for survival.
Right, and the story really kicks off when an announcement crackles over the train's PA system. A health emergency passengers are coughing, sweating, exhibiting strange symptoms. The initial panic must be palpable. What goes through your mind when you hear about the announcement?
Well, knowing what we know about zombie narratives, that announcement is like a siren, isn't it? It immediately sets off alarm bells knowing that things are about to take a terrifying turn. It's almost like a countdown has begun. But for the passengers, it's the start of a terrifying descent into the unknown.
And then, as you might expect, things escalate quickly. The infected passengers start transforming into full-blown zombies. The train descends into chaos, with people scrambling for safety, desperate to escape the infected.
This is where Jackson's medical background becomes crucial. He recognizes that this isn't just some ordinary flu. He's probably seen his fair share of outbreaks and pandemics during his research days. It's likely he understands the gravity of the situation much faster than the other passengers.
Absolutely. And while others are panicking, he's already strategizing, trying to figure out how to survive this nightmare. He teams up with Leo and Nora, and they barricade themselves in a train car, realizing that their only hope is to reach the quarantine zone at the front of the train.
It's like they're forming their own little survival unit, each bringing their unique skills to the table. You've got Jackson, the medical expert, Maya, the tech whiz, Leo, the master of distraction, and Nora, the caregiver. It's a classic example of how diverse skills and perspectives can be essential for survival, especially in a crisis situation.
Right. And the way they utilize their individual strengths is incredible. I mean, Maya's already turning junk into weapons. Imagine creating a taser from a laptop. Battery. Talk about making the best of a bad situation.
That's what I love about Maya's character. She's not waiting for someone to save her. She's taking matters into her own hands, using her knowledge and skills to fight back. It's inspiring, really. It shows that even in the face of overwhelming odds, we have the capacity to adapt and innovate.
But here's where things get even more interesting. It turns out these zombies aren't just mindless, shambling corpses. They seem to be adapting, learning from the survivors' moves, becoming more cunning. It's like they're evolving in real time.
Now that's chilling. It adds a whole new layer of complexity to the threat, doesn't it? They're not just dealing with a physical threat, but a strategic one as well. They're constantly having to anticipate the zombie's next move, which adds to the suspense and the mental strain of trying to survive. Imagine always having to be one step ahead, always looking over your shoulder.
And just when you think it can't get any worse, they encounter a group of survivors who turn out to be infected about to turn into zombies themselves, talk about a betrayal. It makes you question who you can trust in a world gone mad.
It's a classic zombie trope, but it's still effective, isn't it? It highlights the psychological aspect of a zombie apocalypse. Not only are you dealing with the physical threat of the undead, but you're also facing the breakdown of trust, the constant fear of being betrayed by those you thought were on your side. It's a recipe for paranoia and suspicion, which can be just as deadly as any zombie bite.
Absolutely. But our heroes don't give up. They come up with a daring plan to lure the infected to one end of the train using the intercom system. It's a clever idea, combining Maya's technical skills with Jackson's knowledge of the train's layout.
It's a great example of how teamwork and collaboration can be crucial in a crisis by combining their skills. They're able to create a strategy that might just give them a fighting chance. It also shows that even in the darkest of times, human ingenuity can still shine through.
And just as their plan seems to be working, we're left with a heart-stopping moment. Maya gets cornered by a group of zombies, and it looks like it's all over for her, but just as they're about to pounce.
Wait, you can't leave us hanging. What happens to Maya?
You have to wait for part 2 to find out.
Okay, so we left off with Maya cornered by those relentless zombies. What happens next? Does she manage to escape?
Well, just as the zombies are about to grab her, Nora springs into action.
More the nurse. I didn't expect that.
I know, right? She pushes Maya out of the way and slams the door shut, trapping the zombies on the other side. It's a truly selfless act, putting herself in danger to save Maya.
What a moment. It really makes you think about the choices people make under pressure. Is this pure instinct, or is there something deeper driving Archesis's? Perhaps a sense of responsibility for the younger generation, a need to protect the future in this chaotic world.
It's definitely a turning point for both of them, but there's no time to process what just happened, because Artemis, the train's AI, delivers some bad news.
Oh no.
The quarantine zone at the front of the train, their supposed safe haven, it's been compromised.
Compromise? What does that even mean for them?
It means it's no longer safe. The doors have sealed shut, cutting off their escape route. And to make matters worse, the train is now headed straight for a ravine. Imagine the feeling of being trapped, hurtling towards disaster with no way out.
It's like a nightmare scenario, and it forces you to consider, what do you do in their shoes? Would you give up hope, or would you fight tooth and nail for survival? What would your breaking point be?
Just when it seems like all hope is lost, they encounter a new threat, one that's even more terrifying than the mindless horde they've been battling.
Wait, there's something worse than a train full of flesh-eating zombies? Don't tell me zombie sharks.
Not quite, but almost as bad. They come face to face with the antagonist, a former scientist who's been infected. But here's the twist. He's not your typical zombie.
Oh, what makes him different?
The virus has enhanced his intelligence, making him cunning and strategic. He sees the outbreak as the next stage of human evolution, a chance for humanity to shed its weaknesses and embrace a new, powerful form.
A zombie philosopher, it's chilling but also intriguing. This antagonist isn't just driven by basic instincts. He has a worldview, a philosophy that justifies his actions. It raises some interesting questions about how we define humanity and what it means to evolve, even in the context of a horrific apocalypse.
Right. He's not just a monster. He's a reflection of our own anxieties about the future, about what it means to be human in a world that's constantly changing. But back to the action, our survivors find themselves in the train's control car making their last stand against the horde led by the super-intelligent zombie mastermind.
So it all comes down to the final showdown. Are they prepared to face this new level of threat?
Well, Maya is using her electrified wires to zap zombies. Leo is using his illusions to create distractions. And Nora is fighting fiercely, protecting the others with everything she's got. But the horde is relentless and they're quickly being overwhelmed. What would you do if you were in their shoes?
Honestly, it's hard to say. The story's done a great job of putting you right there with them. I can feel the desperation, the claustrophobia of being trapped, the sheer terror of facing an enemy you can't reason with. It's fight or flight, and they're choosing to fight, but for how long can they hold out?
And with the train hurtling towards the ravine, time is running out in a last-ditch effort to survive. Jackson comes up with a desperate plan. They're going to detach the rear cars of the train and jump into the river below.
Jump into a river from a speeding train? That sounds incredibly risky.
It's a gamble, a leap of faith, but with the ravine approaching fast, they have no other choice as the train races towards disaster. Jackson pulls the emergency detachment lever, separating the rear cars from the doomed front of the train, and then one by one they leap into the darkness.
Wow, what a cliffhanger. Will they survive the fall? Are there even more dangers lurking in the river? Okay, so they jumped into the river. Did they make it?
Well, the river's a wild card, right? It's dangerous, but it could also be an escape route hitting that water. The shock, the disorientation they have to fight just to stay afloat with all the debris in the current.
Yeah, and they're already exhausted, right? They just escaped the train, jumped from it. They must be running on pure adrenaline.
It's incredible they managed to make it to the riverbank,
Yeah.
bruised, exhausted, but alive.
They've actually survived that. Wow, it must be such a relief to finally be on solid ground again.
But as they catch their breath, they realize something's not right. They're being watched.
Watch, what do you mean, like animals or?
No, like something else. A drone appears overhead. It's got a camera pointed right at them, recording everything.
Yeah. A drone that's creepy, who's controlling it, and what do they want?
Exactly. They escaped the zombies, but now there's this new threat, this feeling of being watched. It's like they've gone from one nightmare to another.
It makes you think about what survival really means. You know, even if you escape the immediate danger, there are always other dangers, other forces at play. Are they really free if they're being monitored?
It's a haunting ending, right?
Yeah.
You're left with so many questions. But that's what makes a good zombie story so compelling. It makes you think about the bigger picture, about how fragile our world is, and what we would do to survive.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what would you do if you were in their shoes?
Exactly. It's not just about the scares, it's about the deeper questions, the human element. It really makes you think.
And that's what we love about Drunken Zombies, right? It's not just about the zombies. It's about exploring what it means to be human in extreme situations. So, dear listeners, we leave you with this. What would you sacrifice to survive, and what would you endure for a chance at freedom? Join us next time for another tale of the undead. And until then, stay safe out there. Remember to rate and follow us for more Drunken Zombie episodes. Cheers